Resume recording. So we're recording. All right. Okay. What's up, YouTube? Bismath here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have Ray, Real Estate Ray here, and he's going to break down his very first wholesale deal. So Ray, welcome to this new format that I'm doing on the channel where I interview people about their first wholesale deal and just their journey in wholesaling real estate. Thank you for coming along to the channel. And for my audience, if you all find any value from this, just like this video, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more of these videos, interviewing people like you all. So if you find you relate to Ray's story and different things like that, please comment down below. And even if you're on your way to work, listen to this on the background as motivation and different things like that. So let's get right into the interview as we get to know Ray a little bit more. So Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, actually. I'm actually in the process of closing another deal today. So, so
let's go, my man, back to back. He doesn't waste any time. You don't waste any time. That's awesome. How much? Wait. Let's just wait until the end to talk about the second deal. But first, I wanted to talk about how'd you first get started in wholesaling real estate? How'd you get first into it?
Actually, I went to school with this one guy. He started doing a little bit of real estate. I always wanted to flip houses though. Like that was always like my career, like in the back of my head. Like when I grow up, I want to be, I want to flip houses. But
right.
I never even knew about wholesaling. I never heard of it, anything. I always thought you had to have money and actually buy the houses and have money to fix them up and flip them. And I actually asked this guy because I seen him posting a lot of real estate stuff on his page. So I asked him, like, we went to school together. I'm like, dang, how did you get started? And then that's when he started sending me YouTube links. Like, watch this video. And then from there, I just took off, just watching videos all day, every day, like trying to learn as much as possible, taking notes. And that's how I really learned about it.
Got you. So it was a friend that referred you to, I guess, real estate wholesaling, just sending you links, and you went down the YouTube rabbit hole and different things. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I started, just, learning online how to get started in real estate and just going down different YouTube channels and different things like that. So how long ago was that when you first started, watching a bunch of YouTube channels and videos?
I'd say it was probably like around the end of 2019 when I actually started to watch the videos. That's when I came across all the gurus like Max Maxwell, the one guy that's out there in Baltimore flipping houses.
Okay.
I started watching guys like that, and that was like all 2020, like the beginning. I was working at this factory, and then, I was getting tired of being at, working a 9 to 5. It was getting irritating and frustrating. I just got tired of it. So that's when I told myself one day, like, man, I'm about to start taking action. Like, 'cause I was always watching videos, learning this and learning that, but I was never really actually getting out, looking for properties, looking for buyers. I was just watching the video, then close the laptop out, and that was it. And then one day I said, I'm about to take action. So I started taking action. And then actually, when I came across your page, saying? That's what really motivated me to really keep going, because people like Max Maxwell, they like, they already big. So it's like, I mean, that's cool, but it was like coming from you, it was like I was watching your journey from nothing to, big time. So it was like, it was more motivation there. Like, it made me want to go get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So.
Right. Hey, I respect that for sure, because, that's what I try to bring on the channel, just that relatability for sure, because I think like when I first started, just finding someone who was kind of on their journey with me really motivated me, would have really motivated me and inspired me even more. So that's why I try to bring to my audience. And yeah, and I think we have like, we'll get more into your first details. But, like for us, like it didn't take us like just 1 month to get our first deal. Like it was, a process and different things like that.
It was crazy. It took me a while. I actually got that was really my second deal. My first deal, I really made $100, and I really don't.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man, you lost me for a second. But
yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I made $100 on my first deal.
Okay.
It was really because I had just put in earnest money, and somebody else that I referred the deal to, they closed on it and just gave me back my $100 of earnest money. So I really don't count that as my first deal.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
you.
but my actual first deal where I
We'll
made.
get in more into the details. Don't share them the numbers or
Okay,
anything yet.
okay,
We'll get there pretty soon.
okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to know, you said you were working before, or are you still currently working right now, like, a 9 to 5 job, or are you doing this full time?
I'm full-time wholesaler right now.
Dang, that's awesome. So what were you doing before, wholesaling? I
Uh,
think you already mentioned it though,
yeah,
but
I actually actually a decent job. I was working in a factory. I was a machine operator. I was making $18 an hour.
okay.
It was cool. It was just, waking up every morning, going somewhere you really don't want to go. And it was like, I just got tired of it.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
had another plan.
Makes sense. And by the way, for the audience and different people, listening who can relate to you, how old are you?
24.
24. Okay, okay. That's perfect. So, you're still young. So, the young people out there, like my age, your age, can still go out there, and possibly leave a job and do wholesaling full time. So yeah, that's really great. So, do you feel like you always had I guess, the entrepreneur spirit in you from a young age, or do you feel like you kind of discovered that later on?
I feel like it was there all along, man. Like,
Mm,
'cause I had plenty of jobs, different jobs. I was always job hopping because it was like, I always told myself deep down when I was at certain jobs, like, man, I really don't want to be here. I feel like I had a better calling, like I could be bigger than this. Like, I don't want to be stuck here. I don't want to retire at 60 with a 401k. I'd rather be doing something else. Like, I always felt like I was out of place when I was at, most of my 9 to 5s. Like, I was just ready to get out of there. Like, I was ready to branch off and become an entrepreneur. Like, I want to
mm.
work for myself, answer to myself.
Be your own
Always,
boss.
yeah, always felt like that.
Got you, got you. That's perfect. Well, yeah, and I see that with a lot of people. Like, they always feel it in them that they should be doing something else and that they can be their own boss. They need to start their business and different things like that. So I can totally relate to you because I saw that at an early age with myself. And now I'm pursuing real estate, and so are you. So hey, props to that for sure, man. So let's get right into your first deal. So I'm going to be asking different questions, and you can just lay out, your thoughts, different details about it. So our audience, the people watching, can, implement what you learned and probably use it for them, themselves getting their first deal. So I want to start by asking, I guess, when would you say your official, I guess, date start, or when you started actually actively pursuing getting your first wholesale deal? When was that?
Um, it was around May. I want to say like the first week of May. I was
Okay.
actually at work and I had quit my job that day.
Oh, you quit your job.
Quit my
Dang.
job that day. I didn't have no wholesale deals under my belt. I didn't have no leads, none of that. It was just one of them days where I was like, I'm done. I'm about to quit this job and I'm not going to look for another one. I'm about to go full throttle with
Okay.
real estate. And that was around May 2020, like the first
May
week of May 2020.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot of guts for sure. Quitting your job without even getting a deal, or like, I guess, just starting wholesaling. So that's crazy. So with, I guess, getting this deal, um, what was your marketing technique? Was it cold calling, texting, direct mail? How did you go about finding this lead?
This lead actually, I found this lead on Instagram. It was a guy I
Wow.
seen posting a lot of properties on Instagram saying, for sale, for sale, for sale. And I ended up reaching out to him about a particular property. I didn't close on this one, but this is how I came in contact with him. Um, he had posted a property. I had made an offer. He had accepted my offer, but somebody countered with a larger offer, and he ended up closing with them. And I just kept reaching out to him, texting him. Just kept keeping up with him. And one day he just hit me up like out the blue, sent me the property like, hey, I came across another property. He gave me the details on it. Actually, was I interested? And it all went went crazy from there. You know,
Yeah. And the rest was history. That's crazy. So, so just on Instagram, you were following this guy. Was he like an investor or like a landlord, or was he wholesaling himself, or how was it?
I want to say he was just like a flipper.
Okay.
Like he buy properties at a discounted price and he just flip them like he do quick flips. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. And by the way, for the audience to know, so what area are you in? What area were you marketing?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. Got
Yep,
you.
and
Got you.
yep,
Perfect. So, Cleveland, Ohio. So this guy, he's an active flipper, flipping properties in Cleveland, Ohio. You
yep.
just followed him on Instagram. So this was a completely free lead.
Free lead.
Dang, that's crazy.
Free
So
lead.
like people out there who are wondering how to get free leads, they can find leads from
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yep.
Okay, just I guess what should they look for on Instagram if they're looking for leads?
Um, Really, it started off. I think I don't even know how I came across him. It was like I was following people like Max Maxwell, people like you, and I think
Hmm.
because of me sending so many friend requests out to people with like real estate in their bios and stuff like that, it was like my suggestions were starting to pop up, or like mutual people that they follow. I would just see them like comments and likes, and I would click on them and send them friend requests because I see that we have something in common. So maybe you might post something that I could maybe work with, and that's what I do.
Mm,
I just follow people that I see that's doing real estate. I'm gonna send you a request. Let's be friends.
right. Hey, I really appreciate that. Like I really like that. So like it seemed like, too, that you were adding value to them too. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like you just saying, "Oh, give me a deal. Let me JV with you," or something like that. You were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, what kind of properties do you need help moving out?" or something like that. Like so you added value to them. I remember for me, like I found a free lead off of Facebook too, in a
Mm-hmm.
similar way, just through like a fire. It was a fire property that I got. It was completely free. So like using your social media websites, you can still find free leads. Um,
Definitely.
yeah. So okay, so you got the lead through Instagram, and I guess the conversation about the house. How did it go? I mean, was it why would what was the house? I mean, what was the condition of the property like? What was the conversation with the seller?
So when he had sent me the property, the very first thing I believe I asked him was like, are there any back taxes, any liens on the property?
Mm,
And I think it was like 7,000 back taxes on there. And then that's when he actually asked me I asked him about the condition of the property. He had sent me a whole bunch of photos, and I never actually went out to go see the property. But now when I get leads coming in, I usually go out and see the property for myself before I send them out to my cash buyer. But with this one, I never even seen the property. I never even left the house to go do anything about the property. I literally did all of this sitting on my couch,
wow,
just through the phone, on the phone, just talking through conversation and emails. Like,
that's
he just sent me a lot
crazy.
of pictures.
Hmm.
And based off the pictures, the cash buyer went off the pictures and they went out to go see the property with the inspector and did all of that. And they got back with me with their final number. And that's how we did that. So
That's crazy. So that this was essentially a virtual deal, even though you live
basically,
around
yeah,
the area.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. And like people always ask me, like, how do you virtually wholesale when, I've have done deals similar to that where it happened in my backyard, but I never went to the property. And
Yep.
so like everything can be done, like you said, just sitting down on the phone, on your laptop, just connecting with, the buyers and the sellers and different things like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. So what condition would you say the property was in?
It was actually in a great condition. It was really
Mm,
like cosmetic work. That's all we really needed was new floors, paint job, a little bit of drywalling, maybe a couple of windows. But other than that, it was no major repairs that it needed.
wow, okay. So just cosmetics work. So just like simple updating like the kitchen or the bathrooms and stuff like that, new
Yeah,
paint.
yeah.
Okay.
It was just a light rehab. Just simple.
Got you. Okay. Interesting. So I'm wondering do you know why the flipper wanted to sell then? Because I mean, that could have been like an easy flip. or maybe he bought it at a lower price. What was the reason? What was the motivation?
Now this guy, he I believe that he bought it. I don't know where he got the property from, but I know that he was just trying to get rid of it before it becomes, foreclosure. It was like pre-foreclosure, and he was trying to get rid of it real quick.
Oh,
He had
okay.
just picked it up, and he was just trying to get rid of it real quick and make his little profit. So
Got you.
yeah,
So
it was
he so
pre-foreclosure.
he
Yep.
bought it and it was about to go into pre-foreclosure. You were
Yep.
saying. Okay, so this was a pre-foreclosure house.
Yep.
Okay, so some of the motivation was because of it being in pre-foreclosure and trying to sell it before then. Gotcha. All right.
Yep.
And so I guess what was the timeline to sell? When was that, I guess, that foreclosure date? When we, what was
I
that?
don't really, I don't, I don't really know what the foreclosure date was, but
Right.
because I was so quick with him, I had basically told him like, "Hey, we can close this deal in less than 30 days." He just said, "Okay, cool." So I'm guessing it had to be within that time frame. So, because he wasn't like rushing to sell or nothing like that. Like he was cool with the dates that I was giving him. So
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So I guess relatively soon, like less than 30 days for
yeah,
sure. Okay.
yeah.
So let's start, I guess, talking about price. So what did you get this property under contract with? Or like, how did the negotiation go? I mean, he just give you a price and you negotiate it down? How did that work?
He he had offered it to me at 30K, and
Okay.
based off the pictures and talking to my partner, I had countered at 25K, and we locked it in quick and easy.
At
And we
25.
actually, yep, we locked it in
Okay.
at 25. And then after my buyer went out and did their inspections and gave me back the feedback, I had renegotiated a new contract and got them down to 21K, I believe it was.
Got you. Okay. So got it. He asked for 30. You got it down to 25. The buyer told you some things and you got it down to 21K. So that's some pretty good negotiation that you've done. How were you able to bring him from 30K down to 25 to 21? I mean, what kind of things were you saying?
Well, from the 30 to 25, I basically just countered with it just to see where he would be at. Cause this is like my
Mm,
first real deal getting under contract, so it was like, I was really just seeing where he was at, honestly. It
mhm.
was just, cause I would have probably locked it in at 30K, but I didn't want to jump at the first offer. So I just countered like, hey, 25, and then thinking maybe he would probably try to meet in the middle at 27 or 28. So, but he agreed to the 25, we locked it in. And then
Mm,
when my buyers came back to me, they was telling me about all the work that they would have to do, how much it's going to cost them, and what they were going to spend with me. And then that's when I started to talk to my partner, like, hey, I'm about to see if I can get us a couple more dollars on this property. And so I went back, we had renegotiated. I had told them like, yeah, we got to do this to the property, we got to do that.
mm.
Telling them all the work we have to do. Like 25 is cool, but I think 21 is really where we at. And he agreed with really no problem at all. Like he didn't counter, he didn't say, "Oh man," like he was real cool about it.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So the seller was willing to work with you all and
Yep.
and different things like that. So, um, yeah, I think it's a good point that you made where you said when he told you 30, you just gave out 25 to see where he was at. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times people they just accept the first offer, but you didn't. You were like, hey, I'm still gonna throw a number out lower than what you asked for,
Right.
no matter what. And so that's very key, especially for beginners, to not always jump on the first number. You never
Mm-hmm.
know how low a seller is willing to go. And so yeah, props to you for real for still negotiating price, even though 30 probably could have been a good deal or not. We never know.
Yeah.
But with this property, like, what was the layout? Like, how many beds, how many baths? What was the square footage?
It was a single family, 4 bed, 2 bath. I forgot the square footage. I want to say it was around like 2,000 square footage.
Dang, for
Uh,
30,000, for
no, it was it
21,000?
was it was it was around 1,500 square footage, I believe, and it was on the west side of Cleveland, which is actually a good area in Cleveland, where properties are like going like hotcakes right now. So but at the time I didn't know that. I just knew I had a property on the west side of Cleveland. I was still learning the market.
Right,
Um,
right.
so yeah, it was a 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, single family, and it was in a decent neighborhood, but the value was up there a little bit.
That's
So yeah,
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy that, in certain areas of this country, like a 4-bed, 2-bath that just needs cosmetic work, you were able to get for 21,000. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
and it's deals like
yeah.
that all the time over here, man.
Dang.
Deals
That's
like
that's
that all
crazy.
the time. But it's so competitive, it's hard to get them.
Right. It's hard to get them. That makes sense. Okay. And so you locked it up at 21. And so when you went back with your buyers, um, what I mean, what price were you marketing it to, or how did you guys agree upon a price
I
with your
had
buyers?
marketed to my buyers at 45K. Um, and then that's when they get there. That's when they went out with the inspector. That's when they came back to me like, hey, we can't do that. And they gave me their offer. And that's what made me go renegotiate down to 21. But he ended up locking it in at 35K.
35K. Okay, so let's calculate this for the audience. So what you put the property under contract for?
21,
21. And what did you sell it for?
35,
35. So how much did you make?
14,000.
14,000. Let's go. Congrats, Ray.
Thank
Congrats. Okay, so I guess, just learning about that, just looking back on everything, so the audience can learn and take some lessons. What is there one thing you probably would have done differently with this deal?
What I probably would have done differently was definitely more research. Learning the market a little bit more. Really, that it was a lot. Really, like man, like
Yeah.
really just learning the market, learning how to negotiate better with sellers, learning how to
Mm,
negotiate with the buyer. And really just learn as much as possible. That's really all it is. Because when you go in, because I was really just going, like it was points where like we had conversations because we had a lot of problems at the title company. Stuff was popping up,
mm.
and it was like they were saying certain things and certain stuff was happening. I didn't know what was going on. I had to run to YouTube and YouTube stuff real quick. So it was like I was still learning and doing a deal all at the same time. So basically, just learn as much as possible.
Right, exactly. And honestly, that's something I guess you can't really control because you honestly would never know everything before you enter a business. So that's
Right.
good that you still took action, even though
Mm-hmm.
you weren't clear about certain steps or certain processes in this business. So that's good. Congrats to you for sure. So one more thing about the property. So they bought it, you said, for 35,000. Let's say they're
Mm-hmm.
able to fix it up and resell it. How much do you think they would put it back on the market for? What was the market value of that property?
Now, if they were to do a flip, the value was probably around like 60, 65K.
Okay.
But that was more so like a rental property.
Okay.
And that's what they were going to do. They were just going to, band-aid it up and add it to their portfolio. And the rent market was probably going to bring in about 900 a month. So
Crazy.
it was definitely good. Good deal.
That's ridiculous that you can get that type of numbers. Like a $65,000 house can give you $900 worth of rent. Like
Definitely.
that's
And
an
that's all over, man.
that's
That's all over.
crazy. You got to pick yourself a rental soon, get yourself a
That's
rental.
the plan. That's the
Mm.
plan.
Okay, okay. And then I know we mentioned earlier, just, for transparency so the audience will know, you said you actually split this deal with a friend, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay. And so what was that about? Was they were just helping you in this deal
Um,
or
he actually knew the buyer, and that
okay,
was
so
from
he
the
brought
previous deal that I don't really count as my first deal. It
right.
was me and him were on that one as well, and I
Okay.
had put down the earnest money with an agent. Man, we had that property for like 3-4 months, and we had to keep getting new contract and new contract and new contract, and eventually the agent was like, "Okay, I need some earnest money down. I'm not about to keep getting new contracts. Y'all like wasting my time." Blah blah blah. And she wanted $500 now. Man, I was broke. I didn't really want to give her no $500, so I ended up giving her 100 just to hold off for a minute. And like another month had ended up going by, we couldn't get buyers, and I ended up walking away from the deal. And
Mm,
my guy, my best friend, he ended up going back to the deal, and he ended up meeting a buyer, and they
mm.
closed on it, and then he just refunded me my $100 that I had put down on it. So that's why I really don't count it as a deal.
Right,
And
right. That's not, yeah, that's not
yeah,
honestly a
right.
deal. Yeah.
So and then on this deal, he had that same buyer that bought that house. came and bought this one, and he brought that buyer to the table. So
Got you. Okay. Got you. So you split that with a friend since you brought the buyer to you and different things like that. Okay. That's cool. So I guess now, looking forward, I mean, how does things look, with wholesaling with you now, and different things?
Man, after closing that first deal,
Hmm.
it's like it just let me know that it was real. So
Right.
now
Hmm.
that I know it's real, it just made me thrive and go harder and harder. I closed that deal back in December, like literally right before Christmas.
Hmm.
Got it in the contract in November. So the whole process from the time the contract signed to the time I got my check was probably about 3.5 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
January was kind of slow for me. February, I picked up another property, got under contract, and I'm actually in the process of closing that now. It should be closing sometime this week. I'm just trying to keep
Yo,
going. You
let's
know what I'm saying?
go. Let's
I'm
keep
trying to
on
keep
going, bro.
going.
So with this one you're working on, how much are what's the potential profit on that?
7,500.
Okay, let's go. And will you be splitting that with your friend
This is
again?
this is another JV, but this is with a different guy I had met through somebody else. This guy actually lives in New York. He's a virtual
Okay.
wholesaler. He do all his wholesale in Cleveland, but he lives in New York.
Oh, okay. So he like you contacted him or he contacted you?
I contacted him.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. And so did he get the lead or you got the lead or you're bringing a buyer? How's that?
I got the lead, got the property under contract. I actually had my own buyer to where I wouldn't have to, do a JV, but
Right.
it was a small profit and I was making more doing this JV. So I just rather, do that.
Right.
He has an outer state buyer and they pay a little bit more. So
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. And hey, there's like doing JV deals are like one of the perfect ways to get started, in wholesaling. So props to that for sure, because there can be more experience with another person, or just having someone else to help you with different tasks can be really beneficial. So hey,
right.
congrats to that. So moving forward, I know, you're getting leads from different sources. Are you planning to like do a more traditional way of getting leads, like cold calling or direct mail or texting, or just kind of, try out these free ways for a while?
Right now I've been mainly driving for dollars.
Okay.
And I hop on Facebook Marketplace sometimes. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times it's like a little shaky, dealing with a lot of different people. Most of the time it's another wholesaler showing the property. But I hop on there sometimes. But mainly driving for dollars and
Driving for dollars.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yo,
And just
let's.
networking, just like networking with different people that's doing real estate and they sending me deals, I'm sending them deals, stuff like that. But I do plan on using PropStream. I've actually tried PropStream before when you had made the video about it. Like
Yo,
it was
let's
like
go.
first video on
Uh-huh.
PropStream. I was
Uh-huh.
watching it, like, oh yeah, I need to do this. That was before I closed my deal too. I was like, yeah, I need PropStream. I'm about to try
Okay.
that out. And I tried it out. It was actually good. It was just it was before I closed my deal, so it was like I'm not about to keep paying $100 a
Right.
month. But now I'm about to get back into that. I think I'm about to try that out again and try to use it to its full potential.
Okay, perfect. So right now you're doing driving for dollars. Is that how you got your second lead? Was it driving for
Yeah, I
dollars?
got my second lead. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
A
Yeah,
lot of
because
cold calling.
yeah. Cold calling.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I actually, talk a lot about driving for dollars. One of the best ways to get your first deal, especially for a lot of beginners. But yeah, and I guess a few more questions, probably two more questions. So like, just out of curiosity, when you got, I guess, your first deal, you split it, you got 7 grand. What did you do with that money? If you don't mind saying.
Oh no, I don't mind. So yeah, that 7 grand is like it came right before Christmas. And
Mm,
I live by myself. I mean,
right.
not by myself, but with my girlfriend and my
Mm-hmm.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
But now I got to pay all these bills. So I ended up paying up my bills for a couple months.
Uh-huh.
Took care of a lot of debt. But mainly paid up a lot of bills so that way I could take my time wholesaling and not have nothing to pay for. So it's like you know, my bills paid up, they out the way, so now I can really just focus and really go full throttle. And I don't have to worry about, oh, I gotta go get a job. I can't focus on wholesaling right now. I got bills paid up, so now I can really focus and take my time. I got time, you know what I'm saying? So that was
Mm.
mainly what I did, you know.
Okay, perfect. So basically paid off some bills, you know, saved up some money for some future expenses. Makes
Yeah.
sense. A very smart way to use that money. And then the last question, you know, before we leave, can you leave something for the audience? Let's say someone is watching and they're trying to get their first deal. I know, you know, through text, you said it probably took you what, like 6 months to get your first deal. Um, let's say
Mm-hmm.
someone is, it's a few months now and they're still looking for their first deal. What advice would you give this person?
Don't give up. Don't get
Mm,
discouraged, man, because there's been times where I was like literally, it's been times where I said, you know what, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just left it alone for months. Like, 'cause I started back in 2020, like the beginning, really the end of 2019. I didn't get my first deal until November of 2020. And it was like, because there was times where I was like, man, I'm cool. Like, I was getting irritated and frustrated. Like, I just left it alone. But you gotta go back, like, keep going. Just take a break sometimes if you got to. But you know, watch YouTube videos, network, talk to people, join real estate groups on Facebook, and just keep going. And eventually, a deal gonna probably come to you.
mm. Got you. Okay, I like that. So don't give up, you know, keep that consistency, you know, network like you were saying, join these Facebook groups and different things like that. Well, Ray, I know the audience really enjoyed this video and your story and could relate to it, so I appreciate it. Um, and of course, you know, you can contact me anytime. You have my email, you have my Instagram, if you have any questions, or even if you want to partner on some deals here in Tennessee area, Chattanooga, Tennessee, you can let me
Definitely.
know. All right, you all. We'll talk to you all later. Peace.